Greetings everyone, it's another week over and done with. I hope your week has been as wonderful as you are. Mine's been a bit trying, but a bit better than it's been usually. But yeah, let's just get into talking about the games that I'm... Actually, it's not so much about the games that I'm playing. This video is going to be about the games I'm going to play. Because in the next couple of weeks, we've got... two major releases, both low and high budgets as they come, and games that have been long awaited by the RPG community at large. The first one I want to talk about is a little indie darling that everyone's been awaiting, and its release is imminent. And of course, I'm talking about the Sea of Stars. I recently played the demo, and it's pretty good. It's definitely a love letter to the 90s 16-bit, 32-bit RPGs, which was my golden era. When I first saw the footage of the game, I absolutely fell in love with the art design, and the quality of the sprite work is just unparalleled. It is amazing. And of course, the combat system really harkens back to games like Chrono Trigger, so I'm really looking forward to it. The demo was really cool. I will say the difficulty is actually quite rough. I noticed that the enemies hit hard. Whether this is going to balance out or if they're going to keep it this way, it'd be interesting to see. But I really enjoyed my time with it, and I most definitely am going to play it. I have a PS Plus subscription, so it's free with PS Plus, and I think it's also free with Xbox Game Pass. So it's kind of weird because I feel like this game does deserve to be purchasable on day one, and I guess the developers got some good cash influx with all these companies buying to put it on their subscription services. So as long as the developers get paid for the hard work, that's all that matters. And I think that this is going to be something truly special. The question is, do I think I'm going to do a complete run through when it releases? The answer to that is probably no, and it's due to the second game I'm going to talk about. Now, this game is already out for PCs. You cannot go on YouTube without hundreds of thousands of videos about this game being played. Everyone's saying it's their game of the year. And it is a series that is not foreign to me. It is a series that has made a huge impact on my life. It has led to one of my greatest hobbies in life. And I would say that I'm looking forward to this as much as I would look forward to a Suikoden or an Ys game coming out. And that game is Baldurs Gate 3. Now, I don't think I've ever touched upon this in the channel, but Baldurs Gate 1 and 2 are my favorite CRPGs of all time. I know games like Fallout and Elder Scrolls exist, but for me, it's just always been those Infinity Engine Dungeons & Dragons games, which are Baldurs Gate 1 and 2, Icewind Dale 1 and 2, I'm not so much a big fan of Planescape Torment. I know everyone prefers that over Baldur's Gate. I don't. I've always been a big champion for the Baldur's Gate series. Just a fun history lesson. Back in the day, this was when I was really young in the 90s. I remember one day my sister's boyfriend came and he lugged his PC to our house because he wanted to show us something, and he had Baldur's Gate. And my brother and I were just in complete awe of how amazing this game was. Dungeons & Dragons wasn't new to us. I knew Dungeons & Dragons for two reasons. One, the cartoon was replayed on Australian TV quite a lot. But the main reason I knew about Dungeons & Dragons is because one of my favourite games on the Mega Drive is Warriors of the Eternal Sun, which was my first true experience into Dungeons & Dragons. And I love that game too. That's one of my favorite Mega Drive games, and it really did sort of cement Dungeons & Dragons into my mind as a big footnote in my life, because it's always something it would come back to some way or another. Just a little after I had my time with the first Baldur's Gate game, I befriended a couple of people, young and old, who were into Dungeons and Dragons. And when 3rd edition came out, one of my older friends at the time was collecting all the 3rd edition rule books. And because of that, we convinced him to be a DM. And I think began in that year it came out, a couple of games of 3rd edition. And that brings back some very good and bad memories, I got to say. But I was there in the ground floor when 3rd edition was released, and it's one of my favorite things to do. I will save more in-depth tales for the future because I have lots and lots of D&D stories. But getting back to Baldur's Gate 3, I was absolutely over the moon when they announced it was coming to PS5. At this moment in my life, I'm absolutely sick of PCs. I had a bad stream of PCs, and I thought to myself, they're so expensive. They require, constant upkeep and maintenance, and I just said to bugger this. So whenever a game comes out on consoles, it makes me very happy because I don't have to fork out for another PC that's most likely going to break down within a couple of years. So I was very happy when they announced the PS5 version of Baldur's Gate 3. I will say the marketing has been up and down for me. In the future, I want to talk about my stance on Dungeons and Dragons, the reasons I love it, the reasons I'm concerned, because if you are a fellow fan of Dungeons and Dragons, you know a lot of really major big things happened for the brand this year, both really good and catastrophically bad, and that kind of was warping my decision whether I was going to play Baldur's Gate 3. Ultimately, I decided that I was, because I saw everyone's reactions to playing it on PC, and I thought to myself, this is something truly special. And as someone who's has dedicated a lot of my free time to 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, I actually have quite a few of the rule books on hand, and I like to read them cover to cover. Seeing a game utilize 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons to its fullest is something I've wanted to see for a long time, and it's here with Baldur's Gate 3. As a fan of the Baldur's Gate saga and as Dungeons and Dragons as a whole, I think this will be the biggest game of the year for me, probably even over Zelda or Final Fantasy 16. So, and for how the things are going, because I know I'm definitely not going to play Starfield, this probably is going to be the last big game I'm going to play and invest a lot of hours. And knowing me with Baldur's Gate, I'm probably going to have multiple playthroughs. I definitely want to do a good character. I definitely want to do an evil character. I actually might create my... I actually have an evil character that I've used for years that is the stuff of nightmares and the stuff of infamy. So I might actually generate him into Baldur's Gate 3. I'll talk about the character in another video. I've got tons of stories. And I was kind of worried that if I change my content to Dungeons and Dragons, I would lose my audience. But this channel's always been about what I love in life, and it's been an extension. And I've always wanted to share whatever makes me happy. And it's one of the reasons why I left, just because when I left making YouTube videos, I was kind of taking a break from video games, and that's actually when I started playing tabletop games, and it actually ate into my video game time, and more importantly, it ate into my video game finances. I think I said that when I came back that I actually sold off most of my collection for serious reasons, but also when I was able to be a bit more on the plus side of things, any spare money that I had over, I would buy miniatures. And I gotta say this, if you thought that my RPG collection was huge, you ain't seen nothing yet till you see my mini collection. It is absolutely absurd and unnecessary, but it brings me a lot of joy. I actually unpacked my minis last week, and it completely covered a few shelves of mine. I actually probably take pictures so I can show you guys if you're interested. So in the future, I actually am considering putting D&D content into my channel, and it is an RPG, and this is an RPG channel, and what bigger RPG series franchises is there than D&D, you know? But getting back to Baldur's Gate 3, I am excited. I actually bought the deluxe edition because I really wanted to play 3 days early, which I know in my heart of hearts is a scam. It's just a major scam, but you know, they got me. I guess I'm a sucker then. But it is a game that I've been waiting for a very long time, ever since I saw the first footage of early access, and I knew it was going to be special. And just hearing about what you can do, the story is crazy. The scope of what happens in 3 is just insane compared to the other 2 games. They're very self-contained, but this just seems a lot of ideas are thrown around, and a lot of if you're a D&D fan, there's just a lot of fan service. There's also another kind of fan service, because my god, is this game very horny on main to a very comical level. If you grew up, D&D was never like that. Maybe it was in some groups, but for me and my friends, it was all about, you know, going on high adventure, you know, fighting monsters, saving the land, and getting that ill-gotten treasures. But hooking up with NPCs or other characters was furthest from my minds, and then just seeing how Larian and Wizards of the Coast has chosen to market this game. Yeah, it's very interesting. But yeah, speaking of which, because these games are imminent in the next week, I will probably most likely not make a video next week. I've decided, just for my my general health, my mental health, I was going to take a week off. I do want to touch on a later video. A lot of things has happened during my absence, you know, and I do want to touch upon that. I will say that coming back to do YouTube videos, I feel is good for me. But if I do feel overwhelmed, which I kind of have been a little bit, just to take a step back, you know, do something different, and then come back when things have kind of gone, you know, a bit quieter for me. And with the 2 big releases, and there's a couple of other hobby projects that's going to take my attention for the next week or so. So I thought I'd just take a week off and then probably come back with more videos. Maybe I'll just talk about my experience playing Baldur's Gate 3 and how I'm enjoying it. So before I go, just a quick sort of touch upon what I've played this week. I've played Sea of Stars demo. I played a bit of Baldur's Gate 1, just, you know, getting the hype ready, and also to get footage for this video. And I also played Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 1, which I haven't played since the initial launch back in 2003. And that's an interesting sort of Diablo-esque game that's kind of aged well, but man, is it hard. I'd forgotten how hard it is if you don't play the Dwarf Fighter. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I will see you in 2 weeks. How have you all been, and what you've been playing? Are you looking forward to anything that's coming out soon, like these 2 games? I'd like to hear it in the comments section, as always. And I just wanted to say once again, thank you for listening, everyone, and I hope you take care. Bye, guys.